Well, sweetheart, are you ready for another one of these?
I am.
Well, this is going to be your favorite topic of all time. It's November, so it's property tax time, isn't it?
They're coming due soon.
Oregon is so... I can't tell you how many times I get the question. It's like, what? Why are you doing this in November? But we do.
Well, property taxes are due November 15th.
Right.
Every
For the
year.
tax year that starts when?
Well, it's from June or July 1st to June 30th. So a third of the way through the property tax year, you get your bill, you pay it, you're paid up until the end of June.
Right. Yeah.
But it does confuse people.
It's so confusing for folks.
Yeah.
Why do we do it this way?
Well, the fiscal year, the July 1st to June 30th, has just been that way for as long as anybody knows. The interesting part is the changes that have been made to the Oregon property tax system and early 90s and how they have played out in the 25 years since.
Right. So with all of the people that are relocating to Oregon, we both get the question about property taxes all the time, don't we?
Yes, we do. And it's mostly people don't understand that one of the key things is that they don't change just because you buy or sell a home. So particularly people from California come here and they're surprised to learn that their taxes won't go up any particular amount just because they bought a new home.
Because there's a transaction. So every time that you record a sale, it has no impact on property taxes.
That's correct.
So why did we do this? Why did we do this crazy thing?
Well, it's an interesting history. In 1991, Oregonians passed Measure 5. Property values have been going up quite a bit shortly before then. Property taxes have been based on the value of a home, strictly on the value of a home. Homes went up, property taxes went up, and it became of an affordability issue for many people. So, Oregon passed a constitutional amendment that basically capped property taxes at something like 1.5% of their assessed value. That didn't work so great.
Why not?
Well, there was just some clunkiness in the system. So they passed Measure 47, followed by Measure 50 to clean up Measure 47, that put into place essentially the system that we have now.
Which is?
Well, the basics of the systems are this. Your property taxes are based on your assessed value times your millage rate. Millage rate is set by the jurisdiction you're in. In most of Multnomah County, the millage rate is about 2.5%, 0.025. Okay.
So if my house sells for $750,000, my property taxes aren't going to be 2.5% of $750,000, though, are they?
Generally not, because what it is based on the assessed value. So it's the millage rate times the assessed value. The assessed value, and this is where it gets tricky, the assessed value is the lower of the real market value, your $750,000,
Yep.
or the maximum assessed value.
What?
Okay, maximum assessed value. That's where people have fun. The maximum assessed value, this is tricky. The maximum assessed value is 90% of the assessed value on January 1st, 1995, compounded at 3% a year since then.
Sounds like a great bottle of Pinot.
It's at least a mediocre one. 23 years? Yeah, that'd be well aged.
Yes.
All right, so what does that mean for maximum assessed values? That means that maximum assessed values in 23 years at 3% a year, they're about twice what they were then. Okay? It's about 97% higher. So the maximum assessed value now for a property that's had no changes is a little less than twice what it was in 1995.
So what if there's a change?
Well, we'll cover that in another session. It's fairly interesting because everybody wants to know what happens if I remodel.
Right.
But for right now, understand that your property taxes are based on the lesser of your real market value or your maximum assessed value. So let's say your $750,000 house. Well, your maximum assessed value in all likelihood, depending where it is, which is another topic, but depending where it is, it might be half that. Okay? So you could have a $750,000 house that has an assessed value of, say, $400,000. Your taxes are going to be based on the $400,000,
Not the 750.
not the $750,000. Next year it'll be based on $412,000
That's 3%
of
growth.
$400,000.
Got it.
The year after that it'll be based on
1.03 times 412.
$425,000 or something like that.
Got it.
Regardless of whether your house at 750 becomes $1 million or becomes 500. So for instance, in the recession, when property values dropped quite a bit, in some areas lost a third of its value, people are wondering, my house value went down.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, my value went down. Why did my property taxes go down? Well, your market value is still higher than the assessed value. Okay? Now we've had a growing market for 7 years where most property assessed values are about half what the market values are. So if taxes were based on the market value, they'd be twice what they are.
So there are still some houses that the maximum assessed value is higher than the real market value. What does somebody do in that case?
Appeal.
Appeal.
Okay? And we will cover that in another session too. It goes hand in hand with what happens. So the two reasons you would appeal would be because your market value dropped below your assessed value, or you made improvements and you disagree with the assessment based on the improvements. We'll cover that in another session.
Okay, awesome. Is there anything else we need to cover in this one?
Well, what is the real thing? I mean, the whole idea behind the property tax limitation measures was meant to provide stability to the system so that supposedly government jurisdictions could count on a 3% increase in revenues every year. That was the idea. It's had unintended consequences.
Oh, well, they had to give the money to PERS, right?
Well, all right, that's a different topic. We're not going to go into that too much. Anyway, that's, there we are.
All right.
All of this will be on our blog,
Okay.
portlandhometeam.com blog. We'll have the details there.
And this is Bob and Phil Raise the Roof. I'm Bob Broad. This is
Phil Wax.
If you want to find out more, again, you can look at the blog. You can always call us. Our contact information is right on the screen. We'd love to chat with you or help you navigate this in more detail. Thanks.
See you next time.